Good evening, City Council. I'm Kathleen Mallory, Planning and Sustainability Manager for the city. I'll be presenting this evening on the city's 2023 General Plan and Housing Element Annual Progress Report. The Annual Progress Report is a requirement of the State of California Office of Planning and Research, and it must be submitted to the State Department of Housing and Community Development. The requirement that it be submitted by April 1st of each year. And that requirement to prepare that report is pursuant to state law. The purpose of the annual report is to provide a status update for how the city is doing in implementing its general plan, and then describe some of the implementation actions from implementing the general plan, of which the housing element is an element of the general plan. And then the annual report provides an update on how the city is doing in meeting its housing objectives within the housing element as described and required by the Regional Housing Needs Assessment document, which allocates the city's housing numbers over an 8-year cycle. The city's 2030 general plan is shown within the mapping here, and it requires that the law requires that every city have a comprehensive long-range plan, which is known as the general plan, and it guides the physical development of the city. The general plan provides the city with a consistent framework for how logical and well thought out land use decisions should be made before key decision-making bodies. All city actions affecting the physical development or the use of land within the city must be consistent with the general plan, or a general plan amendment is required. During 2023, there were no general plan amendments. Since adoption of the 2030 general plan in 2011, there have been 19 amendments. There are 3 pending general plan amendments which are working their way through the approval process at this time. The Teal Club Specific Plan Project, which is located in the area bounded by Doris Avenue on the north, Patterson Road on the west, Teal Club Road on the south, and Ventura Road on the east, is a specific plan project proposing to build 990 residential units of varying density, 24 acres of commercial and community park, a 24-acre community park, 8 acres of public or semi-public uses, 4 acres of mixed use, retail commercial, and 10 acres of business and research park use. The project, should it be approved, would implement or require the annexation of the overall 174-acre area, and additionally 7 parcels south of Teal Club Road that are required to be annexed should council approve this project and it advance its way to LAFCO. The Teal Club project and proper, as I've described, would require to be annexed, along with the 7 parcels south of Teal Club Road. Staff is currently finalizing the specific plan and development agreement documents and preparing the project for public hearings in 2024. The second general plan amendment is known as the Malhart Project. It's within the Northeast Community Specific Plan area, and this is a sub-neighborhood plan located on the northeastern corner of Rose Avenue and Camino del Sol. The project proposes to create sub-neighborhoods, so smaller neighborhood areas under the larger Northeast Community Specific Plan project. And the plan would create a framework for the future development of approximately 500 to 950 residential units of varying densities and approximately 40,000 square feet of commercial development on the 56-acre project site. The project would also create these master tentative parcels, 14 master lots for future tract development. And the project also provides for 11 acres of improved park areas, including a 5.4-acre expansion of the park known as East Village Park. The third and final general plan amendment currently making its way through the review process is Rio del Valle Campus Expansion Master Plan Project, located at 3100 North Rose Avenue. The project consists of a southern expansion area and improvements to that existing campus. The southern expansion area would accommodate classrooms and athletic fields and expansions of a new transportation and parking facility, which would be relocated from an antiquated facility on Vineyard Avenue. To support the proposed expansion, the existing campus and southern expansion area must be annexed into the city, which will require that amendment to the 2030 general plan. In 2023, City Council took action on a number of ordinances to implement the city's housing element. Specifically, ordinances to implement housing element programs 6, 9, 22, 27, and 32 were approved by Council in November of this year. These programs within the housing element called for specific updates to the city's zoning code and downtown plan to comply with current state housing laws and address identified constraints to residential development. Key amendments to the city's zoning code and downtown plan included updates to the accessory dwelling unit parking requirements, density bonus requirements, supportive housing and low barrier navigation center zoning, standards to address emergency shelter standards and parking, single room occupancy zoning standards and parking, and farm worker housing zoning, as well as residential care facility zoning and parking objective standards for reasonable accommodations. And there are other ordinance modifications to streamline, clarify, and simplify the permitting requirements to comply with state regulatory requirements and laws. After the second reading of the ordinance in December, the zoning text amendments became effective on January 4th, 2024. In 2023, staff continued to move forward with efforts to update the city's inclusionary housing ordinance. We launched extensive outreach with the community in 2022, and that proceeded through the Community Services, Public Safety, and Housing and Development Committee. The recommendations of that committee in November were forwarded through an ordinance and staff report to the Planning Commission on April 6th, 2023. The commission recommended substantial revisions to the ordinance. As a result of that, of state law and of evaluating the recommendations, the city chose to seek an opinion from the state of California Attorney General on how local inclusionary units may be calculated in projects that are also seeking to utilize state density bonus as a means to secure additional density from the residential development project. The draft ordinance has been placed on hold while we wait for a response from the Attorney General's office. In 2023, work began on another important project, the long-range project known as the Local Coastal Plan Update. With that, the city council took action to hire the consultant, DUDEC, and that happened in 2024, but a number of important work efforts to develop the required scope and to look at how we should be updating the local coastal plan were initiated and executed in 2023. On December 7th, 2022, the City Council approved the first Climate Action and Adaptation Plan. That is a plan for reducing the city's greenhouse gases that contribute to global climate change and adapting to anticipated effects of climate change. One of the primary ways to achieve the CAP goals is to continue securing 100% green energy from the city's Clean Power Alliance, which is the city's energy provider. In June 2022, Council authorized the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Clean Power Alliance, and staff's work began to look at installing solar and battery backup at no cost to the city through the Clean Power Alliance. That was one of the goals as part of the CAP document. Staff also participated in the CPA Energy Planning and Resource Committee meetings, and council members participated in the CPA Board Director meetings to continue helping to shape renewable energy policy for the city to achieve CAP goals. In 2026, on June 16th, 2020, the City Council approved a development agreement between the City of Oxnard, Sakioka Farms, and AMS Craig LLC. The tentative tract map, which subdivided the 430-acre area within the Sakioka Farms Business Park specific plan into 129 lots, with new roads and sidewalks, stormwater management, landscaping, and associated utilities. In addition to the Amazon and Arctic cold storage projects, which are completed and operational, a third development was approved. In 2023, the city approved a proposal to construct 4 industrial buildings totaling 778,720 square feet and related site improvements on 4 separate lots totaling 40.87 acres. Altogether, the recent and approved development in the Sakioka area totaled over 2.8 million square feet of development, furthering the goals of the general plan and aiming to promote economic development through job creation and cold storage projects. In 2020, the applicant team submitted a request for an amendment to the River Park Specific Plan project to allow for up to 1,025 additional residential units under that specific plan. The project was approved by council in March of 2022, and the first project resulting from this approval was the 331-unit 4-apartment project, which was approved by the Planning Commission in 2022. The second project proposed 280 units referred to as The Point, and that was submitted in 2023 and is currently moving through the entitlement process. Continuing with important development projects worked on in 2023, the city continued to work on the village specific plan known as Wagon Wheel. In a total of 1,500 dwelling units and 50,300 square feet of commercial development related roads, parking, and transit was approved and within a specific plan by council in January of 2029. In 2023, development continued with the Town Square mixed use project and 34,310 square feet of commercial development. Lockwood 1 and 2 were also built, and Lockwood 3 is currently under consideration. Those 2 projects are programs that are recommended and were developed as part of the city's housing element and the creation of the city's affordable housing permitted and affordable housing discretionary overlay zone. Permitting activity for accessory dwelling units has increased significantly. In 2023, 87 accessory dwelling units received planning permit approval or entitlements. 178 were issued a building permit, and 67 units were constructed and occupied. The housing element projects the development of 283 ADUs during the 2021-2029 housing element cycle. As a result of the city's update of the ADU ordinance that happened this year and ongoing city promotion of ADUs, the planning department entitled 425 ADUs in 2022 and 2023, and 253 ADUs were issued building permits in 2022-2023. Therefore, the city is on track to meet the housing element ADU projection of 283 units as early as 2024 and could significantly exceed that projection by the end of the housing element cycle in October of 2029. Planning entitlements were granted for a total of 254 residential units in 2023. Accessory dwelling units made up 87 of these units, with the remaining units resulting from multifamily development, 2 single-family subdivisions, and 2 single-family developments. Building permits were issued for a total of 641 residential units in 2023. Of these units, 333 were units located within River Park. The remainder were located throughout the city and included multifamily units, single-family dwellings, and accessory dwelling units. A total of 8,549 dwelling units were allocated to the city as part of the 2021 through 2029 RENA, or Regional Investment Cycle. In 2023, 641 units were issued building permits. Approximately 40% of these units were issued building permits in 2023, and they met the criteria for placement in the lower income and moderate income housing household category, while the remaining dwelling units, or 60%, were categorized as dwellings affordable to the moderate income household. With this presentation, staff recommends that the Oxnard City Council receive and file the City of Oxnard's 2023 General Plan and Housing Element Annual Progress Report. And we're happy to answer any questions.